Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to the second episode of Tech Talks, the brand new student-led podcast that gives an inside look into the students, faculty, events, and much more involving the Northeast Tech community. I'm your host, Tyler Kik, and I'm very excited to lead this off because this is a special episode of Tech Talks because today I am joined by my fellow classmate, class leader, print shop master, program mom, Madeline Borlandelli. Madeline, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited. I know we came up with this kind of on a whim, because I was like, I really want to record an episode today. Thankfully, you volunteered, though. You were like, oh, yeah, I'd love to be a guest. So thank you so much for coming on to the show. You're going to have so much to offer because you are, like I said, a class leader and you have a lot to tell. So,
okay.
First, though, you do have a lot to tell. So tell us a little bit about yourself involving the class, outside of the class, just anything like that.
So whenever I was starting high school, I didn't really know that I wanted to go to tech, and none of my older siblings did, so I didn't know that it was going to be like a thing that I would end up doing. And so whenever we went on our field trip to go tour tech, I really didn't care about any other class but this one, because this one was the one that sparked my interest. Because I always loved art. Art was like my thing, design. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something to do with art. And so whenever we got here, I just really liked this class. So I came back for student interviews and I ended up getting in. And then we started school shortly later that year. And I ended up really liking it, really liking the design studio more than anything else. Just the hands-on stuff, and now I might be coming back for a third year.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's something that you just started talking about recently too, because you never really debated it much. What's impacting that decision of coming back for a third year?
So I really don't know where I want to take my career path yet. I don't know if I want to do something to do with like cosmetology. I don't know if I want to do meteorology, or if I want to keep on doing something to do with design. But I know that if I came back for a third year, I would have more time to figure out what I wanted to do and to figure out what scholarships I can apply for and take another ACT and get a super score and just give myself the best chance at getting into a college and getting that scholarship money so it doesn't have to come out of a loan or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's something I feel like tech can really offer people, because I've heard a lot of stories about third years, and I know a couple friends from a couple other programs who are going back for a third year. That way they have those chances that you just described. I feel like a lot of people don't really realize tech can provide that opportunity for a third year, because you graduate after your second, but it is open for you to come back for a third. And
for free at that.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't cost you a thing, and you still get to be around the people that you've been around, and you get to teach younger students the first years, which is really nice because you could really learn a lot from them as well as teach them a lot. And just being patient, and you almost end up being one of the teachers.
Yeah. And you are very good at doing that. Like at the beginning of the year when you taught all the first years how the design studio works and the way that you just present it to everyone, it is very you're very open and exciting about it, and so that is a really good teaching capability that you have. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about art, because you mentioned art. You said it was you mentioned art is like one of your only interests in this class, is one of the only ones that really interested you coming to do tours. So where did that start? Where did your love for art really begin, and design and everything like that? So
in elementary school, my brother had got he was really into like the graffiti kind of like lettering and words, and he always practiced art, and I always looked up to him because he was my older brother, and we were born on the same day, so everybody always called us birthday buddies. And so he was 6 years older than me. So he started doing art, so obviously I followed behind him and started doing art, just kind of messing around. Didn't know that I would actually end up connecting with it so much. And as I got older, like probably 6th or 7th grade is whenever I really found that I had almost an electrical connection with art. I could express myself in a way that wasn't embarrassing or like scary to tell people about. Like it just helped me relieve some of my stress, and like I knew that at the end of, even if it looked bad at the beginning, everything looked good at the end. Like, it was something I just had to be patient with. And everybody always loved seeing my art. It was just it was almost like a personal boost in my own, like, growing and developing, because I always knew that I would be good at least one thing that I've done for forever.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of art, like, do you specialize in? I
think my favorite, like, medium or whatever is, I really like just sketching with a pencil and paper, but I'm also really good at painting. Like, during Christmas this last year, I did a painting from Harry Potter. It had, like, the hat and the books and the wand and everything, and I did that for a lady my mom works with as a Christmas gift to someone. So people just like handmade things, and they're just willing to pay for whatever, because it's so much more special whenever it's made by someone's hands.
So what's your thoughts about, like, digital art then? Have you ever taken your sketches into a digital realm before?
I've kind of tried it out. I've messed around on, like, some iPads and stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's as easy. It almost feels harder to get the kind of thing you want going, because, like, with the pencil, all you have to do is press harder or press lighter and you'll get different shades. But with the digital stuff, you almost have to mess with a lot of software to get it done. But some people, that's where they start out, so it's so much more easy for them, and they can't draw on paper. And that's kind of the same way it is here. I don't mind digital art. I know that tattoo artists really, like, use that. That's like their number one thing, is digitalizing everything, so they can make, like, the stencils and everything, which is good, because people who use digital art like that, they can pursue a career like that, or maybe in, like, posters and stuff like that. But personally, I like pencil and paper better.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Fine art is something that me personally, I've never been good at. It's like being able to get hands-on and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I think art is so, like, expressive and so I'm just going to use the term beautiful for everyone, is because there is so many different types of art for everybody involved. Like, I make music, so I think that is a form of art, because that's a form of expression, a form of being able to get myself out there. But I don't think it's any different than someone like you who can sketch really well and do, like, really well hand-drawn stuff, because art is expression, and I think that expression is something that everyone needs. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool that we have differing opinions, but we can relate so well.
And art definitely connects people. Like, it's just even if you didn't know you'd ever have a connection with someone, it definitely connects people just in the most random ways. Because I've always been good at, like, just looking at a picture on one hand, like on my phone in one hand, and then I can sketch that exact picture. It's like I have a very imagery. Has a lot to do with it, is imagery. But, like, people like you hear almost like sounds in your head, like songs in your head, and you put those to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how it is. And sometimes that's, like, one of the more difficult things too, is, like, how to actually put it down into an idea. But I feel like I have the ability to where I can just do that. Mm-hmm. And so that's awesome how art can, like, translate those different skills for people. Mm-hmm. So now I'm gonna kind of drift away from I'm going to talk about digital art here for a second, because this is a topic that we talk about in class a lot. This is a topic that we have discussed personally a lot. What's your opinions on artificial intelligence, AI, taking over the creative space?
So really with the visual communication class, it has a lot to do with, like, the whole class's whole reason for being here is that you design, you make, and you create things of all sorts of mediums, and just making banners and posters and stuff, and that all starts on a computer. And AI can help create things sometimes, and it gives you the easy way out, but in the long run, it would be very hard for any of us that are in the visual design part of this to go out in the real world and find a job that would connect with what we did at Tech. And that's kind of the whole purpose of Tech, is you go to Tech and you have that experience, so you'll be able to get a job easier. But with this class, with AI taking over so much of the internet space, it's going to be very difficult for any of us to go out there, and we'll have to search far and wide to find something that would actually be worth your time because of AI, because now that's just the easy way out.
And so you mentioned that you're a lot more hands-on person with art. And so that's why you prefer doing the design studio stuff, if I had to guess, just because that is the most hands-on that our class truly gets. I don't pay attention to that at all. I'm kind of in the background. I'm more of a video guy, so I know everything about that. But do you use AI at all?
The only kind of AI that I use is like whenever I'm writing a description for those photos that we send to Crystal for our student contributor. Or like if I'm writing the description for those photos, I'll type up something, and if I want it to be worded better, I'll use ChatGPT and just tell it to word better. But I don't typically tend to use AI for any of my personal designs or anything, because it just seems it doesn't feel as like you don't feel a better connection with your works or anything, because it's just not truly yours, even if it's different from anybody else's.
Yeah, AI is the one thing I see with AI a lot is that it loves stealing other people's artwork. Like there is a huge debate going on, right? Do you know much about Studio Ghibli? Stuff like that? Okay. Basically, Hayao Miyazaki, very talented Japanese artist. All of his movies are hand-drawn by him, and then he digitalizes them, prints them, and stuff like that.
Is it like stop motion kind of, or like a flip book?
He draws it like frame by frame, and he has said AI is, in his opinion, like the end times. Like he kind of hates computers to begin with, but now that it's stealing like other people's work, but recently it's been stealing his.
Wow.
Like people have been making filters with his work, and he has been kind of like on fire about it. But it's been a huge debate of like, should we be letting these devices steal other people's work and like incorporate it into make it their own, but even if it's not, so it's
a big debate right now is whether or not AI will take over the whole internet platform, or if it'll only just take over that creative side of it. But I know that it has taken over a lot of it, like through our social media apps like Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. Almost every single one of them have a AI helper, but nobody wants it, and a lot of people have conspiracies about them stealing your information and stuff, and that's like a big a conspiracy with TikTok. Why they're taking it away is because allegedly China's stealing our information.
Our information, yeah. No, I completely get that. That's AI is just it's expanding so fast that I can't even keep up with it, and I've been doing my best, but it's like it's almost
kind of gross how much it's taking over.
Gross is a perfect word to describe it, because it's like
it gives you the ick.
It's everywhere, and it gives you the ick, and it's like, especially as an artist, it's kind of like, wow, it just keeps taking, and it's taken away the human capability to produce. But that stuff we've already talked about. But about AI and taking over the career, and you said getting a job with like digital media work and stuff has been getting more difficult, which is true, because it has been. Have you thought about a career in the future involving art? Because it seems to be very impactful on your life, and I know you've talked about the uncertainty of choosing a career, but like, have you truly like thought about that?
So something I really enjoy in like my free time is I really enjoy doing nails. And it's not just like the basic nail designs. It's like I do very intricate nail designs, very like time consuming. I'll spend hours and hours and hours a day just creating it. And it feels like another form of art, because polish is a lot more different than paint, and it's on such a smaller scale. So that's something that I really like to do. And even I could do it as like a side hustle, or even just at the beginning of my career, or if I come back to tech next year and that's what I want to do to just have some extra money and go to school, then I can do that. But I really like weather too, and I think my love for weather comes from whenever I was a little kid. I was very scared of tornadoes and very scared of thunder and lightning and the weather, and I think that fear has struck kind of like a question in me, like wanting to figure out more and how everything works, and just the general, and it's just like the tornadoes and the storms part of it. And that's another career path that I've genuinely thought about pursuing, just because, I mean, it almost seems like another form of art because weather's so unpredictable, and it's just so like almost majestic how it moves through, and you never know what's going to happen. You can predict it, but you can't give a guarantee.
I've never thought about weather being a form of art before, but just the way you describe it, that seems true, you know, because it is practically a painting of the world changing and stuff. And so it's
like its own stop motion.
Exactly. That is so interesting. I'm going to be thinking about that all day now.
It's like
put that thought into my mind. Wow. Okay. So just a lot of uncertainty, you know, with career paths and stuff, but you seem to have a pretty consistent theme going, which is pretty good. So I do wish you the best of luck in trying to find that, because I know it's a journey that's not taken easily, but you'll figure it out. You seem to got it all down. So before, I'm just going to move topics now. So sorry to switch things up. But before we started this podcast, you told me you were part of something called the Educational Talent Search through TRIO, and it's an RSU thing?
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So TRIO comes once a month, and you have a specific person from RSU assigned to your school, and they will come once a month and talk to you and give you updates about, like, if you've applied for a scholarship or if you've applied for like Oklahoma Promise. They'll keep up to date with all your stuff for you, and they pick a handful of kids from each school that need just a little bit of extra help, or they've done really well and they are deserving of scholarship money and everything. They'll pick a handful, and you'll go and you'll meet every month. And like another thing they do is they give you 3 free times to take the ACT anywhere you want, but it's a pass.
Okay.
And you can go take it and super score your ACT. And so they'll also do like workshops. Even over the summertime, they'll send you stuff in the mail, and it's for workshops where you'll go and you'll be able to apply for scholarships and talk to recruiters and just really put your name out there and almost give yourself the best opportunities and the best chances to excel in your after high school. And so yeah, they'll help you get your scholarships. They'll give you money for really anything. I mean, it's probably what helped me get into tech. Just being in it puts a good thing on my record, like a good name on me. And so yeah, it's definitely very helpful, and I know that I can go and talk to those people anytime I have any questions, and they even like give you their contact information, so it could be any time of the month, but you can go and ask them anything you want, or even meet up with them and apply for whatever. And yeah, they're just a very big help.
That's really cool. Do you think that have you talked to them before about your career path ideas and stuff?
Not necessarily. I haven't seen them in a while because I don't go technically to my school anymore. I'm online. I don't get to meet with them anymore, but I can, of course, go to RSU and talk to them anytime. And it's just in the Student Services building, which is very convenient because it's almost only like 20 minutes away from my house. So they'll definitely, I think, help me excel as far as they can get me.
Okay, perfect. And so, you know, they're kind of like counselors in a sense of like being able, and they answer just any sort of questions, you said?
And they're pretty much freshly graduated college students too.
Really?
So they've been in our situation before, and they know exactly where to go, and it's almost like they're mentors, and they just show us around.
Have you had anyone else in your life that's been kind of a mentorship position for you and trying to, you know, find your way through everything so far?
I think my, well, they're not technically my grandparents, but I call them my grandparents, even though they're not blood. They've definitely put a huge impact on my life. I met them whenever I was around 10 years old, and they've given me so much opportunity, and they've taught me so much just about regular stuff, like regular everyday stuff, and like they've almost taken me under their wing and just showed me the ropes They are probably the biggest blessing I've ever had. They show me just like, they've given me my work ethic, which is a thing that I get complimented on a lot, is that I have a very good work ethic. Mm-hmm. And they've just showed me that even though against all odds, I can still do more than I've been shown that I could do, which is good.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Just having sort of those mentorship people, mm-hmm. like I have some for me, especially like most of them are graduated from this class right now. So like Jeremiah, Teddy, I know the listeners, you have no idea who we're talking about. Maybe you know who Teddy is, mm-hmm. but they're just mentorship people. And it's really nice to have someone like that.
Yeah.
So I really understand where you're coming from, just being able to have someone who you can openly talk to about navigating through life and its challenges, and especially with uncertainty for the future, because that's something I'm personally dealing with a lot right now. Like I have a lot of people telling me a lot of different things, and so my mind is
half the world wants you to go to college. The other half is like, oh no, you don't need it.
Yeah. And then it's like, I mean, I know what I want, but a lot of people are telling me like, oh, you don't really need to do this.
You need to do this.
Yeah, or you need to do this. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, uncertainty is a lot. So,
and it's definitely stressful. It puts it's a big weight. And that's definitely a big challenge that comes with it. That's why whenever I had the idea of going to tech another year, that was definitely something that I hadn't even thought about before, and it just popped in my head because everyone was telling me, oh, you need to go to college, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I just wasn't sure that I wasn't sure if I was too late or what I even wanted to go for, if I wanted to get all my regular classes done first and then major my second year. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So I was so glad that I am able to continue tech and have more, that time just to really think long and hard about it, mm-hmm. and not make a mistake. Because a lot of people don't use their degrees because they made a mistake and they don't like what they went to college for. So I want to make sure that what I go for is something that I really love and am really passionate about.
Yeah, you don't want to just like hate your career for the rest of your life, and so
waste your time.
Exactly. So I completely understand the whole thought process behind it all, but again, you seem to have a pretty general, I guess, idea of what you're going for, which is always good. And so even if there's people who don't, then I guess just follow your heart, follow your passion, because I'm just going to reflect on what we talked about earlier. You're finding, because you're a very artistic person, you want to stay within art, you're finding art within, mm-hmm. other things, like that whole weather and art thing. Again, I'm never going to stop thinking about that, I think, because that's like just such an amazing perspective to have on it, and just seeing the beauty for what it is, mm-hmm. And appreciating it, which is a form of art. Mm-hmm. And also like cosmetology, like nails. I always forget nails as part of cosmetology.
Yeah. Everyone always thinks hair. Yeah. And hair's a form of art too. It's almost like sculpting.
Exactly.
Like there's so many things in the world that you would never think, but they are true forms of art.
Yeah.
Even writing is a form of art.
Oh, yeah.
And I like writing too. Not necessarily writing stories, but just writing, like if I have something weighing on me very deep, I'll write it down. And then I'll just throw it away and forget about it, because that just helps me express what I need to in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a very good, passionable trait that, mm-hmm. you have about you. So I'm very happy you were able to share that with me, mm-hmm. on the podcast today. And that's all the questions I had written down for you. Is there anything else you want to talk about while we're here? Because I mean, we have time if you've got anything. If not, that's totally okay though.
What are you thinking about going to college for? If you go to college, or if you're even thinking about furthering your education?
You're pushing it back on me. You're making, mm-hmm. me the interviewee now. Okay, I see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Well, so I've been kind of struggling with this a lot because, and I mean, I'll just be completely honest about it. I do want to go to college. Mm-hmm. I want to be a teacher. I want to do what Coach does, pretty much. I want to...
So you want to be like an older grade teacher? I
want to teach like multimedia,
like ZTV.
Yeah, like ZTV at Claremore High School, or like graphic design class. I just want to stay within that art, and it's not because I really like teaching, and I really like multimedia, and it seems like an easy thing to do, but it's more because I like helping people find passion within themselves, because that is what tech has done for me, a big thing tech has done for me, is help me find myself and, you know, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I'm passionate about. Just help me truly figure out those tough questions that a lot of people have. And that's something a lot of people don't really realize about tech either, is that it really helps you kind of figure that out. And so once I realized that, I was like, man, this is so cool. The fact that just getting accepted into a class I didn't even know existed has changed my life so much. I wonder if I can help other people find that within themselves, like people have helped me. And that is something I'm super passionate about. And that is something I really want to do, something I really want to pursue. But I have a lot of authority figures in my life, I'll say, who are telling me that it's a bad idea and that I'm not really the smartest for taking it on, which is scary. But I'm just going to leave it at that and they've messed with my head a lot about it. But I can't really speak against it. And so it's just a big struggle within that aspect. It's like, I know what I want to do, but I don't have a support system that helps me want to do it.
Yeah, and give you that motivation to proceed.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, something that a teacher actually told me at my school was that I should forget about ever doing interior design or graphic design, because nobody does that. People just hire other people to do it nowadays. And that was something like I was told by a teacher, and that really struck me. Like, this was before I came to tech, and that was something that I felt that I would be very passionate about, is interior design, because I just loved it so much just thinking about it. And whenever that was said to me, it really struck me as odd, because it was my own teacher saying that, and they're supposed to be the ones supporting you even if they don't want to. And so I kind of gave up that dream and that hope that I had and moved on. And people like that definitely take a toll. And that's why if someone were to look up to you like these first years do to us, it's important to just support them on whatever dreams they want, whatever video they want to make, whatever picture they want to do or poster they want to make. I mean, even if we don't like it, it's still theirs.
Yeah.
And something that's definitely educational is why people just doubting you, it always makes the biggest winners when people doubt you.
Yeah.
And it's like the best feeling in the world whenever you finally do it and you're like, yeah, I did that and you said I couldn't.
Yeah. And that is a big thing about me too, is that I do have a lot of people who do support me, but it's like the people who should be aren't. And that's kind of the big issue here. But yeah, I mean, I try to be as supportive as others as I can be. And, you know, I feel really great about that. That kind of comes back to the whole teaching, helping people find their passion thing, is like, in my opinion, you should always be supportive. And so that's why it makes me a little upset when I see people who aren't. But I mean, that's everyone has a different personality. A lot of the times they don't realize what they're doing, and that's not against them. Yeah. And there's also the people, and I mean, it's kind of important too to enact realism onto a lot of people's dreams and stuff, but also it's like a dream. I feel like any dream can be followed.
And it's definitely not a good thing to make somebody feel delusional for thinking that they're gonna go be just unrealistic dreams. Definitely shouldn't be crazy supported like they are. Some people, like the content creation, that's a dream that, I mean, a lot of younger kids have now. They want to be a content creator, but it's so almost unrealistic and like you can't tell if you'd ever get big. So that's why it's always good to have like a second plan if you don't end up making it like that.
Yeah. But I mean, putting in the work does do a lot for people. Being
consistent is one of the top number one things people will tell you with that stuff, is just consistency is the only way to really get your name out there.
There was something that Coach Faulkner, for listeners, who is our instructor at Visual Communications, he said this last year, and it's always stuck with me. It was just a one-off random thing he said during one of his speeches. But it was like, overnight success takes 6 years to get. 9 years, like it just takes a long amount of time. And I thought about that, and I'm like, wow, yeah, because you could have literally nothing. You could be at like scratch zero. You could like And I thought about it in like a real life aspect too. I was like, finding a job is like, you could have nothing, you know, you could be a nothing. Like I could be a teacher, there's no jobs open at all.
Yeah.
But then one day a position could open up, and it depends on your dreams, and it depends on how, again, consistent you are in following these things. But overnight success taking as long as it does, you could be a content creator with like 0 views on anything, but then when your post goes viral, now you're one of the biggest names in the game, and it's like, wow.
And you could even, I mean, you could have one post go viral and then all your stuff plummet again.
Exactly.
So it's just something that is never, it's not consistent if you're not consistent.
Exactly.
And that's like same concept with life. If you're skipping school most days and you don't have a job, or you're not even trying to support yourself, whether you were born into money or not, if you don't have your head on straight, then you're not going to be able to make it, because one day you will not have what you have now, and your life will be different, and you won't even know it until it hits you in the face.
Yeah.
And that's something that's definitely I want to avoid. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Something that I'm very scared of is just falling flat on my face. All my big dreams, all my everything, and none of them come true, and I just fall flat on my face whenever I move out or whatever. That's definitely one of a fear that I have, and definitely one that I want to avoid.
Yeah. And I completely understand that. So that's also tying back into, you know, doing a third year at Tech and
just making sure I have enough time.
Making sure you have time to really think your decisions through, because really I feel like there isn't enough time to ever make those decisions. But, you know, you got to have supportive people there for you. You got to have consistency within yourself, and you got to keep yourself in check, and everything that we've talked about, you know, it all kind of comes together.
Yeah, 12 years seems so long in school, or 13 if you, seems so long, but in the end, it's like, I'd say probably half of kids don't know what they want to do, and they wind up making the wrong decision, or they just don't go at all, and they loiter around waiting for something to be handed to them.
Exactly.
And that's just something that definitely needs to be put a stop to. And I'm happy but not super stoked to graduate because I'm a little scared.
Yeah, me too. It's a big fear of mine. And so that's something I'm glad that we could talk about, because now I don't feel alone.
Yeah, I'm so scared. I'm just nervous. I'm even nervous for the day, just walking across the stage, because like, what if I fall or forget to stop, or what? Like I mean, all the bad things, all the bad thoughts.
You've been waiting 17, 18 years for this, so it's like, man.
Like, what do I do now?
What do I do now? You know?
What's next?
Yeah, so we really should give more people allowance to really think themselves through and give them support to do their dreams, because that should be the thing. So
yeah.
But all right, well, should we conclude this? That was a very good talk.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madeline, for joining me on this episode. Really, it means a lot. We talked about a lot of good stuff, a lot of really important stuff. I feel like a lot of stuff people can really resonate with. So thank you for bringing your perspective to the table. And for listeners at home or at school or on your daily commute, wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you for joining and listening to me and Madeline rant for about 35-ish minutes talking about life and stuff, because that is really great. And if you attend Northeast Tech and you want to be on this podcast, you're more than welcome to do that. I just opened an email. It's nt.techtalks@gmail.com. You can always shoot me an email. We can figure out a time, or you can come find me around campus. 9:30 is my break time, so I'm always at the admin building getting my chicken baskets, doing whatever. But yeah, anyways, this has been this episode of Tech Talks. Thank you again for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.